I get there and the lockbox is empty. There's no key in the lockbox. So I messaged the agent and, she didn't reply. At this point, I was like thinking, okay, well, there's no key, there's no lockbox, there's no one else around. Clearly, whoever took it out is gone. And so I just called my guys and I said, turn around, go back. We can't get in.
You're listening to the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast with your hosts, Paul Stevenson, David Warren, and Greg Campbell. Let's see what's going on in the world of real estate today.
Good morning and welcome to the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast, your go-to source for all things related to the dynamic and ever-evolving real estate market in Ottawa, Canada's capital city. Perfect. Our podcast is designed to provide valuable insights, expert advice, and insider tips to anyone interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate in Ottawa. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer, a seasoned investor, or simply curious about the local market, our podcast has something for you. We'll be talking about the latest trends and developments and sharing our own experiences and perspectives on the Ottawa real estate scene. So whether you're looking to navigate the buying and selling process, stay up to date on market trends, or learn more about investing in real estate, we've got you covered.
Wow.
Tuning into the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast. Let's get started, gentlemen, shall we?
That was wild. I loved it.
What a mouthful.
When you listen to that, it's like, how do you not want to listen to the show?
Yeah, we should just have the AI do our whole show. That way they don't even need to listen to us.
We should have the AI script each of us.
Yeah. I did that once and said I had a degree from some university I'd never heard of. I was like, oh, okay, well, it's got most of it right, but a few things off. How was the weekend, gentlemen? We're just cruising out of Easter weekend here.
Weekend was good. It was Paul. He hosted a great meal. A couple of us over on Saturday. It was great steak and salmon dinner. Compliments to the chef. Yeah. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Good time. Yeah. It was good. And then family stuff yesterday. We're already Monday. Actually, headed to Toronto right after recording this for the Jays home opener tomorrow. So looking forward to that.
Nice.
That's good day for a drive.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, much of the same with me. Just some family stuff over the weekend. A little bit of work. Actually, speaking of a little bit of work, I will say something that happened that this is for any realtors that are listening. Do not do this because you look like a clown, basically, and you make people upset and you waste people's time because you're not paying attention. And as we know, this is a detailed business. So thank you for fucking up my day. I hope you're listening.
Oh my God.
Yesterday, I had a showing booked yesterday. It was my only showing of the day. On Easter Sunday. I did it. My clients really wanted to see a property, opted to come in from their cottage on Easter Sunday. They were there for the weekend. Wanted to come in to see it. I get there and the lockbox is empty. There's no key in the lockbox. So I messaged the agent and, she didn't reply. At this point, I was like thinking, okay, well, there's no key, there's no lockbox, there's no one else around. Clearly, whoever took it out is gone. And so I just called my guys and I said, turn around, go back. We can't get in. So they do that. They turn around. We just have a quick conversation. I'm back in my car, just talking to them as they're turning around. And what do I see? Oh, I see a bunch of people get out of cars in the visitors parking that were there, I guess, well before we were. And they come in 15 minutes into what our scheduled appointment. Ours was 11 to 11:30. And then around 11:15, after we kind of waited, figured out that this wasn't happening, all I see is this family and a realtor or two just walk right in to the place that was locked. The door was locked. There was no key in the lockbox. So apparently what had happened, and the listing agent was also pissed. I know her. They had got there pre-11 o'clock. They were waiting for some people, and they took the key out of the lockbox and just happily sat in their car. And although they would know if they were paying attention that there was someone that had a showing at that time. They had a showing booked for 11:30 to 12, but of course they pulled the key out before 11 o'clock, screwed up the
They do that.
and now definitely lost. They lost a lot of respect, and they screwed up our day, our holiday. So that was pretty irritating. Yeah. So realtors, don't be dicks like that.
That sounds like a fun Easter Sunday.
Yeah, that's
Full of
like
joy. Full
That's
of
like
joy.
slap in the face kind of shit. Wake up. Just brutal.
What?
Brutal.
Why would they think pulling it out and sitting in their car for over half an hour would be like
Because
the
I didn't
strategy for
even
planning?
see them. I didn't even see them until I was about to leave, and I was there 15 minutes early. So basically, they were sitting in their car for half an hour while the other showing, like, it was like, what, they sabotaged it?
I was going to say that's their way of eliminating multiple offers.
The question is, did they get the home? That's the real question. If they bought the home,
I don't know. I mean, there was an offer on the property already. That was one thing. They were in negotiations. So the agent said that she thinks it was, well, I haven't talked to her today, but I'm sure that it was the same buyer going back again. But
wow.
they didn't check the appointments. So that's why it feels like a sabotage at the same time too, right?
Sounds like collusion. Sounds like collusion.
Out, we'll watch them not get in, and then we'll go in after they leave. That's what it looked like.
Now, were the selling agent and the buying agent from the same brokerage? That's the real question.
That I don't know.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not planning. Not planning conspiracy.
But man,
that's
talk
shitty.
about
that's too bad.
Talk about irritating, right?
Can I give you a positive story? Now, after that, we had the power out last week. It's just storytelling the last couple of weeks. Power went out. What was it, Wednesday? I guess last week. So we had our power come back on at our place midnight Thursday. So between Thursday, Friday. But the furnace didn't kick back in, so couldn't figure it out. Tried all the the layman fixes. I hit the breaker. I tried the furnace switch. All the things that when you don't know how a furnace works, you try. And then I called my technician Friday morning. The house is at 11, 12 degrees. Is Good Friday now, holiday Friday. Responds within 2 minutes to my text message. Sends the technician out. Within an hour, I got a new thermostat. Furnace is back up and running. Always great humans. I'm working with Crowley Heating and Air Conditioning. Dan is the owner there. He took over the business, I want to say 3 years ago, and he helped me huge when I was doing my renos. And since then, they've been excellent. So it was a good news story. He was out here, Crowley. They had the technician on site within less than an hour. Everything was up and running.
Wow.
Pretty happy about that on a holiday. So there are good humans out there.
That's something else. Yeah, that's great.
That's fantastic service.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, or either that or it's telling of how much business that you've given them for your since your reno and
maybe.
And for your reno.
Yeah, the 12 referrals I've given them might be the reason that they
they're like, it's Paul Stevenson, get over there.
It's like the bat
signs,
phone.
Just money signs going off.
It's just one of those money machines, like start shooting every time.
That's awesome.
So this week in real estate, we might as well talk about what we're here for. All related though, all related. Greg, your story is disappointing. I would say, it'd be nice to get some more details. We've had a few of those stories recently. We've had some trouble out there in the streets with other agents, it seems.
Yeah.
Did
lay the smack down.
Did that place of last week that we were talking about, did that get any sales on it? The rotating
no.
rotating offer date.
Of course not. It sits. That's it. It sits. It waits.
Sounds like that listing might be the same agent that was sitting in her car for an hour with the fucking key.
Wow. I can't. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Oh,
I will
geez.
say, I mean, just speaking of real estate, I will say that the rental market is mega hot. We did 3 rental deals last week between Luca, my mom, and I. We all kind of worked on all 3 of them together. It was interesting.
Wow.
And I gotta say, if you are looking for a rental and listening to the show and have had problems getting a place because you have pets, you're not talking to the right agent. Call me. All 3 of the rental deals I did, they said no to pets, got all 3 of them done with pets because of our bulletproof pet clause. And 2 of them were multiple offers.
Wow.
That said
multiple
no
offer
pets.
on rentals.
Multiple offers on rentals, said no pets. We won, and we had pets. So, and one of them was like a slam dunk, like with credit and work and everything. The other one wasn't, but we got it. And the pet clause, the agents were like, yeah, like that's a strong pet clause. One wanted a pet deposit, and I said, absolutely not. I'm like, we're not paying a $500 pet deposit. Have you read the clause that I sent you? And they're like, you're right. Sorry, we accept.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're having a problem, and I just got another rental client, someone called me. Listen to this, guys. Listen to this. This is another thing about our industry that pisses me off. So a friend of mine messages me and he says, listen, he goes, can you help my girlfriend? She's looking for a new place. She needs a rental up to 2,500, townhouse, whatever. And I'm like, sure. And then he says, she has a stacked townhome that she's selling as well. I'm like, great. Does she need a hand with that as well? And then, he says, well, no, she has an agent she's working with on the sale. And then I say, well, then why isn't she working with this agent on the rental? And he's like, well, she sends him listings that she finds, and then he makes a call and they decide if they're going to go or not. And it's been difficult because she has pets. I'm like, so basically the agent who's selling her house, that wants to work to sell her house, doesn't want to work to get her a rental because he doesn't think that it's worth his time. Although apparently he's good enough to list the home for sale, or he doesn't have a team that can help with rentals. So I'm like, dude, send the information my way. Anyways, reached out to her. She's like, thanks for getting in touch, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, listen, I'm happy to help. So go through. So anyways, I'm going to be working with her on the rental, or, the team's going to be working with her on the rental. And for the listing, I don't know. I'm just hoping that maybe the experience on the rental side makes her tell her agent, you know what? Greg Campbell goes above and beyond. You're not doing that for me. So again, the industry, lazy. Why would you not help your client, who's already your client and your friend, find a rental? Why would you sit on your hands, let them find it, and then tell them yes or no? It's like, oh, it says no pets. You kidding me? I've got the fucking pet clause. Call me.
Greg, Santa Claus over there.
Oh my God. I'm telling you though, like, what is it? Like, I just told 2 stories.
Pet Daddy. Start calling me
like
Pet Daddy.
Idiots.
Greg is fired up.
Idiots, man. I'm telling you, like, no, do the work.
That's so funny. See, speaking of rentals though, the numbers, and I know you're in the car right now, so you're not able to see them, but you did send us some stats, and I just wanted to touch on one because talking about rentals, that Riverside South last week, they were up on rentals compared to 2022 for that week. They're up 33% for the number rented, and the rents were up over $100 on average. So the average rental price of $24.77 versus $23.48 in 2022. So
yeah, Riverside South has a pretty strong rental rate still. I find that most markets now, I think as we've seen over the last few weeks, is balanced out where the price is almost similar because they've had to because of all the competition. But I mean, it's super healthy. And like I said, I hadn't done rentals for a while, and just doing 3 last week. Like now I've got the groove. Now I'm, back in the process of rentals because they were all good clients, and they needed help. They were having a hard time finding anything. So there is good properties out there, and some of the good ones. There's one that we got that was a big single family home And what did we pay in the end? I think it was $28.50 for a single family in Barhaven, which I thought was great. Brand new, never been lived in. So like new appliances, we got custom blinds thrown in, got the pets, and
well, we know you got the pets.
Yeah,
we know full well you got the pets in there.
Call me.
Do you see anyone coming out of a rental with a dog? Greg helped them.
Oh man, way too funny. But yeah, so the rental market is healthy, and I'm telling you, realtors, if you're again, okay, I just want to keep saying sitting on your hands. If you are sitting on your hands waiting for buys and sells, just get off your hands, because think about it. You do 2, 3, 4 rental deals a month. It's a lot of work, but you know what? You've got the money coming in, and then you've got 3 to 4 people that you've helped that will eventually be buying a home. And if you keep in touch and do your follow-up, guess what? That's money in the bank down the road. So don't sleep on rentals. Anyone that's sleeping on rentals, I'm taking them because I'm wide awake.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
This is great. So do you want to touch on, Greg, seeing as though you're on a roll right now, do you want to touch on the average price in Ottawa?
So the average price, month? I mean, and again, guys, I'm in the vehicle. My kids are doing a dance photo shoot out here in Rockland this morning. So I have
photo shoot.
The competitive hip hop photo shoot today. They look amazing. And so the average, Dave, maybe you can help me with this. So the average price is $710,000 for a residential home, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and so I do want to touch on the fact that I think it was just last month, it was $709,000, and I predicted that by June it was going to be about 725. I still think that that's going to happen with all the buyers out, all the listings coming up. I think maybe 720 at the minimum, which is not too far off. That's only $10,000 as an average. And that's really interesting because that was the same price as the average last June when the prices kind of started going down. So we've got a pretty healthy market, to quote Steve Bailey. Healthy market here, and we're gonna see more of it. I will say though, there was, I think, 596 listings in Ottawa in the last 7 days that came out. That's active right now. That's not including what's sold and conditionally sold. I quickly took a glance at what's active right now in terms of new listings in the last 7 days, and that's a lot. So I have a feeling that the market is balanced. I think if the listings keep coming out, I think we may switch to a buyer's market.
Oh,
I didn't think that would be the case, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. People still complain about no inventory, but it's not that there's no inventory. It's just that there's not a lot of great inventory.
And I guess at the right price point. And at the right price point, right? From a qualifying perspective.
Absolutely.
And that kind of parlays into this week on Wednesday is another Bank of Canada rate announcement. Most economists are predicting it will hold steady again. However, inflation's been coming down, and it came down to 5.2. There hasn't been an updated numbers yet, but there's sorry, my child fell behind me. There's
falling children, dancing children and falling children.
But there was a very strong jobs market that came out, numbers that came out of 35,000 new jobs. Most of them were part-time. So that is something that does skew those numbers, is that factor, but they were expecting, I believe it's less than half of that as far as what they were expecting for numbers to come out from that. So obviously a resilient jobs market does, and resilient income levels kind of keeps prolonging that inflationary number. So, it'll be interesting to see.
Great segue. I can actually.
I'm the master of segue.
I'll read the intro to the article here. It says March jobs data must be worrying to the Bank of Canada. Canada's economy continued to motor on in March with the creation of nearly 35,000 new jobs, once again beating economists' forecasts. Stats Canada reported that 18,800 full-time jobs were created in March, along with 15,900 part-time positions, which beat the census forecast of 7,500. Yeah, a little bit higher. That also kept the country's unemployment rate of 5% for the fourth straight month. Economists had expected to tick up 5.1%. So what it means for next week's Bank of Canada rate decision, I think we're on the same on the same
Page.
Wow, I was going to say plane. We're not going where we're flying. That is not the kind of growth the Bank of Canada wants to see when it's trying to ensure that inflation gets back to target. Although today's report isn't enough to get the bank off the sidelines, the fact that nothing so far seems to be able to crack the Canadian job market juggernaut must be worrying. But Mark Desarmo, principal economist at Desjardins, said we shouldn't read too much into the strong results, given that the job gains were largely concentrated in specific industries such as transportation and warehousing. Excuse me. Oh, wow. Okay, I think I'm good.
There you go, Paul.
Oh my gosh. It's always the first coffee of the day. I'll just finish this last paragraph. It says both TD and Desjardins expect first quarter GDP to come in at an annualized 2% and 3% respectively, which is much stronger than the Bank of Canada's current forecast of 0.5%. I'll just say rates aren't going to go up this week.
Yeah. And I mean, let's hope not. And that will give us a pause. The next announcement is then not until June 7th. So it does give us, pausing in April gives, we already have that. There is no announcement in May. So it kind of does allow for that time for people to, recalibrate people that are looking at homes, getting back into the market. Now, the flip side to that, though, is that Equifax has released data that non-mortgage debt and delinquencies are on the rise. And so that's something that is impacting the flip side to it, where we do have resilient employment numbers and inflation coming down, but we also do have kind of spiking in delinquencies on consumer debt, which is something that'll be interesting to follow, because people will typically miss their payments on their credit cards or their lines of credit and student debt before they miss their payments on their mortgage. Their mortgage is the first thing that people in Canada pay because they want to keep their home. So it'll be interesting to see as those delinquencies increase, and if those delinquencies are individuals that have mortgages, how that ripples out. As they can't make their non-mortgage debt payments, if that trickles over to the mortgage payment. So that'll be something to keep an eye on over the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, I have the numbers here actually, which I can touch on.
Sure. Master
great segue, Dave.
Master segue.
Dave starts talking. I'm like, hold on, let me pull up the data. It says total consumer debt continued to rise in the quarter, reaching 2.37 trillion. Let's see what's important. The agency reported a 5.4% year-over-year rise in non-mortgage debt, but the pace was even faster among younger cohorts, with an 8.4% rise in debt levels for those between the ages of 27 and 42. In the past 12 months, 90-plus day delinquencies in credit cards and auto loans were up by 23% and 11% respectively. Equifax reported overall the delinquency rate for non-mortgage debt rose to 1.01%. Among mortgages, it says delinquency rates remain just off all-time lows at 0.15% as of December, according to the Canadian Bankers Association. So, yes, it looks like non-mortgage debt definitely super like pretty large increases across the board.
Yeah.
So that'll who knows? We'll see. Probably a lot of people. I mean, we've seen. Well, I'm sure you have too, Dave. We being Dave and I, we've seen like more people on renewals definitely looking to pull out some of that equity, consolidate some debt. Like it's been pretty. I would say maybe half, maybe just under half, are looking to kind of access some equity for different reasons. So that'll probably be there'll probably be an upwards trend in that category, in that activity, that theme.
Yeah, I believe it.
Oh, yeah, I think that side of it is something that's interesting to watch, and that's more so on the defaults and anything coming up from a foreclosure standpoint. But any sort of, we've talked about a lot, there are a lot of buyers on the sidelines that are just afraid of payments, but they have become, watching a couple of rate pauses. I do find that as soon as there is a non-announcement, if you will, from the Bank of Canada, that, really that week following, there were a lot of people looking to get pre-approved that were that were feeling more confident about where things were at and where and what their payments would be, and that, okay, there's not going to be another rate announcement. Like, great, like let's get pre-approved, and we're coming up to the spring market, snow's thawing and wanting to get back in. So I think this Wednesday, if they do, all indicators are that they will hold steady. It will be interesting to see, and come next week's show of any increased kind of traction.
I think, nice segue, Dave. I think that as of Wednesday through to the end of June is going to be absolutely bananas. I think it's going to be the busiest time since last September. For sure.
Timestamp that prediction,
that,
Steve.
That's what I believe. I think, and this warm weather is just going to make people be like, yes, let's go.
Especially
the
this
last
next
couple
2
weeks
weeks.
has just been brutal. Everything, people, is slowed down. It totally slowed down.
Yeah.
A nice storm taking out some trees, and hydro will do that as well. But
yeah.
We got 25, we got 24, 25 degrees coming up in the next, I think, 7-day forecast.
I saw this.
You'll be out and about.
Absolutely. There was this clip I saw of this guy. I wish I could share it right now. I can't remember where it was. He's talking about the seasons in Canada. It's like, welcome to Canada, where we have 4 seasons. And then he goes through summer, fall, winter. And then he's like, and then we have winter's hangover. There is no spring in Ottawa, in Canada. Anyways, it's just, it was hilarious. Just talking about how spring is just so gross and all you see is garbage everywhere.
Yeah.
And then it's summer.
Garbage and dirt, and then everyone's on patios.
Like a couple of weeks, then it's summer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Accurate.
Well, should we slide into the mood boost, Paul?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, guys. I got 4 today for the squad. Number 1. I accidentally rubbed ketchup in my eyes over the weekend. Now I have hindsight. Hindsight. Imagine if it was that easy. Okay. Number 2. I tried to come up with a carpentry pun that would work. I thought I nailed it, but nobody saw it.
That was good.
A lot of wood play in there.
A lot of
wow.
A lot of
wood play.
Number 3, I went to the paint store to get thinner. Didn't work. Spring's here, trimmed down.
I like that one.
And last but not least, I just spoke with Bill Withers and told him "ain't no sunshine" is bad grammar. He said, I know. I thought Greg would like that one.
That was great. That was great.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We got that one together. Dave's segue Dave and Pet Daddy Greg.
Yeah. Remember, everyone, I got your pet claws.
He's gonna be on a Segway next week, just like just moving around his house.
And I'm not sharing it. I'm keeping it. You want it? You want it? Let's work.
Yeah. Greg's handing out pet claws.
Batting 3. Good.
Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. As always, the show will be the show's air every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Almost didn't make it this week. 10 a.m. Tuesdays on YouTube, on every streaming platform. And thanks as always. Make sure to follow, subscribe, share, like, review, comment. We see them all. We read them all. We talk about them on the show. And we'll see you soon. Happy belated Easter, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe because we'd really like that.